Yay!
I love it. Everybody, can everybody hear me? Wave if you can see me. Hey! Hi, everybody. I gotta catch my breath after that. That was amazing.
No.
Welcome, everybody. We're so glad to see you all, and thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday to be with us. So, as you know, and as you'll hear throughout the morning, nothing is more important to us than teacher feedback. I'm going to lose it. This is not good. But, as Dick tells us, and as we all know, really, you are the lifeblood of book clubs. And so we need to talk to you. And what we were so inspired was the idea to bring you guys back because, you have the familiarity with Scholastic, but you still have the sensibility of what's going on in school. And so I'm not going to go on too long, but remember those days when we sat in the conference room, and it was super cold, and the heating was up and down, and we had to get our jackets, and then we went in the other conference room, and we tried to have an amazing meeting. And I would tell you this story about how I met a special teacher who was really freaked out about getting her book order in time, and then I would introduce the amazing Carol Levine. Well, it is truly a fun and amazing honor to introduce Carol Levine right now. And so everybody give Carol a big hello, and she's going to take the mic.
Thank you, Judy. Hi, you guys. I am so happy to be here and to see you. This was such a different kind of preparation that I did for this meeting because before, as you all remember, first, I sent you 200 emails, morning, noon, and night, every minute. And then I sent a few extra because I always forgot someone or I said something wrong. Then I called you 200 times a day, every minute, to make sure you saw those 200 emails. And then about 2 weeks ahead of time, I decided to obsess about the weather. What is it going to be like in New York? What is it going to be like in every state that you are going to get in, that you're in? Will you be able to get into New York? Will you be able to get out of New York? I couldn't imagine. Finally, we all meet in the lobby of the Soho Grand. We walk over and we start the meetings. The meetings are always fabulous. It's always so great. Then we go to a restaurant on a Saturday night, and I start obsessing right before we leave the restaurant. What if I lose someone in Times Square? Walking from the restaurant to the theater. What is going to happen? And I have my phone and I'm so freaked out. Finally, I sit down, like the play, having a good time. About 20 minutes before the curtain goes up, I start thinking, oh my God, what if I can't find the bus? What if the bus isn't here? I've already called the bus 52 times. And what if everybody doesn't get on? Well, that's what I used to do. For this, we did something totally different, but I want to tell you something. I miss doing that. And I miss all of you. And I'm happy to see you and welcoming you back to our fabulous Scholastic family. And now I'm going to turn the mic over to Stella.
Thank you so much, Judy and Carol, for that warm welcome. And I know our teachers are looking forward to hearing. I'm emotional too. I don't know why. I just got emotional. I just love seeing all of you. I know our teachers were looking forward to hearing from both of you today. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scholastic Book Club's Teacher Advisor Reunion. Today, we have teacher advisors here with us from 2005 all the way through 2019. How amazing is that? Thank you for being here with us today. Whew, I'm going to get through this. Today we have teachers, as you all know, the Book Clubs has a long history of convening with teachers every year to co-create our program and improve the ways we serve you and your students and your families. And this is our promise of partnership to all teachers and classrooms. Unfortunately, this year, because of COVID-19 and amidst all the chaos, we're not able to meet with an in-person teacher advisor panel. So we've chosen to turn to you, our former teacher advisors, to meet with you virtually for advice on how to better serve teachers and students this school year. Again, we're so grateful that you decided to join us as your best position based off your long history with Scholastic Book Clubs, along with your passion and dedication to literacy. And today we're going to cover a few topics that are very important to us in our program, and we're excited to hear your thoughts and feedback. In order to capture everything you have to say, we're going to be recording today's session. Again, we're thrilled to reconnect with you, our amazing teacher advisors. Our hope is to continue corresponding with you for the course of the school year and longer. We truly, truly value what you do and all the support you've provided us throughout the years. So before we begin, I'm going to go over a little bit of housekeeping. Since there's so many of us here today, we kindly ask that you please keep your microphones on mute so that we can hear clearly without any interruptions or echoing while everyone is presenting and speaking today. Once we begin our discussion, we're going to be able to hear a few teachers on the open mic. However, you will be able to use the chat section. And I want everyone just to look at the bottom of their screen. You can take your cursor and you'll see it says chat. A lot of you have already done it. If you haven't, you want to just try it out, you can say a quick hello on the chat. And again, we're going to record this, so we want to capture everything you have to say. Finally, we want to thank you in advance for sharing your open and honest responses, as you always have. So let's get started. We understand many of you are experiencing a new mode of teaching, and many of you have already told me whether you are face-to-face, hybrid, or remote. We realize these are very challenging times. Obviously, it's been very difficult to balance everything that you've been handed this school year. I see a few people nodding. But we hope Scholastic Book Clubs can still be part of your classroom experience. So we're going to get started with a few questions, and we hope to hear from a few of you. And as I call you to share with us, please, those of you that are not called on, please share on the chat. If I call on you, take yourself off mute so we can all hear you. So I'm going to begin with, what is the importance of getting books into the hands of students through book clubs? And so we're looking at that. What is the importance? What does it mean to you? Let me start. Carrie Ann, are you here? There you are.
Hi, Stella. Hi, everyone. Hi, Judy. Hi, Carol. Hi, Dick. Hi, 2019.
Hi,
so good to see everyone. I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
So to answer your question, Stella, the importance of getting books into the hands of students is one of the most important parts of teaching. And I think all the teachers would agree with me. And book clubs is a big part of that because, hi guys, because now that we're able to ship books to home, because we're in a virtual transitioning into hybrid situation, once we were able to ship books to home, parents were, ordering, and being that kids don't have access to libraries, well, where I am, the parents understanding how important it is for children to choose their own books and have their own books now makes Scholastic so much more bigger part of their lives, because this is the mode that we're using to get books into their hands. And we package them up, drive around, drop them off, or students meet us at the school to pick up their books. So it is very, very important. One of the most critical things, especially now with the way how education has changed. So thank you, book clubs, for that.
Let me hear from another teacher. Amy Davis, I saw that you're on with us. Amy Davis.
Hi.
Can you
Can you
wave
hear
for
me,
us,
Stella?
Amy?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, in our school, I am in person. So our students had a choice of being either coming back to school in person or online e-learning. And teachers weren't really given a choice, but the students were. So I am in person, and I have to be honest, I love it. I'm happy to be there. I do have more students than I had. It's an interesting way to be back at school, but I love it. And I'm so happy because I thought that this year, I wasn't sure how book clubs was going to go, but it's been so exciting. The kids have just been thrilled when we get our book boxes and we talk about the book orders. And the nice thing for me also has been that I've been able to support the teachers that are doing e-learning. We have been they were uncertain of how to go about it. And because of my relationship with Scholastic, I was kind of able to coach our school and our district about how to go about getting those books in kids' hands and the availability of the books being able to be shipped home. Because it's just so important, especially in this day and age. I feel like they're so involved with computers and technology now. And I am one of those kind of people that just loves to touch and hold a book, and it's just amazing. And so I want those kids to have that feeling too. So to be able to support other teachers and all of the students in our district to get those books to the kiddos, we do book drop-offs, all kinds of things, have the books shipped to their homes, just whatever we can to support the kiddos and the learners. So, and hi 2019, I love you all.
Thank you so much for that, Amy. I'm going to move on to my next question. What does it mean for kids to choose and own books right now? What does that mean? The program assumes that children want to choose and own their own books. Is that true? And how is it right now? Let's talk to Brian. Are you there, Brian Smith? Is Brian Smith with us? There you are. Oh, you're on mute, Brian.
Am I good?
There you go.
It is super important for kids to choose their own books, because that's where the excitement comes in for at least my kindergartners. Hopefully a lot of times they'll choose books that I will introduce them for new favorite characters, and not necessarily always go with the Ninjago book. But yeah, like if they have their own book, then they're going to pick that book up 1,000 times, as opposed to putting it on a shelf and putting it in their book bag. So when they pick their own book, it's special to them, and it has meaning to them.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's hear. I saw Stacy Reed Miller. Stacy, can you chime in here? We're looking to understand. Hi, Stacy. We're looking to understand what the meaning is behind students choosing those books, owning those books. How important is it now more than ever? We're trying to figure that, hear from you.
It's really important. I think, my main thing is always choice. Like, how can we get kids choosing their own books? Like, how can we teach them how to do that? Like, taking their interests and then, matching them up with those books that would fit with them. And I think my tough thing this year has been like, how can I get more kids to purchase books through Scholastic? Or, how can we get more books in kids' hands? Because we are completely remote. Well, I'm one of the remote teachers, but we do have some kids in person. So we're like giving kids books. We're like weeding out libraries and like doing pickups during lunch pickup. And we're just like, take these books. We're trying to drop them off at kids' houses. So I feel like choice is kind of taking a back seat at this point, because access is the number one thing. Of course, we want choice to be up there. It's super important to us. But right now, it's just like, can we get them any physical books that they might be interested in, that we might try to spark interest in with a remote read aloud? And we're just, weeding out all those old books that, have things in them that just, aren't very relevant anymore or aren't representative of the global majority. So we're trying to build up a better selection of books for kids. So Scholastic is super important. We're going to start doing, it was an idea that one of the ladies had when I was there in 2016. It was that like you send in $12 and you get the dollar of the month book for all the kids. So they end up leaving like at the end of the school year with at least all these books to take home. So we had a teacher just pass away. And we're kind of, doing this as like her legacy, like how can we buy books for our kids for them to keep and do it kind of in her name. And Scholastic is the main place we're using right now. So we're really relying on Scholastic to have those great books at great prices because we know how important it is for kids to own books.
Okay, thank you so much, Stacy. Just a quick question to follow up on that. And I totally understand what you're saying about, getting access to books more so than even the choice. Are your families agreeing with you now during this COVID time? Are you finding that families are looking for just access more than anything?
I think our families are, absolutely, because we have our kids using Epic right now just because, it's a place where we can have kids log in every day and have access to books. But anyone who's used Epic knows that it gets better, but it's just not always the greatest. It doesn't have everything you're looking for. So, we're using Epic because it's available to us and we have to have that right now. But we're really trying to get those physical books into kids' hands. And parents do know that that's important. I've noticed that I'm having more remote parents purchase than I originally thought I would. And I think it's because they know, the kids just have to have those books. It's different when they're in our classroom. They can go over to the shelf and grab it. So I think my families, and I work in a district where, not all of our families can afford to buy books for their children. So our public library is teaming up with us on a lot of efforts to get books out there, but our parents do know it's important. And I feel like they're really finding value in having that selection every month.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to hear from Tamika Miller. How are you, Tamika?
Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well. How are Debbie? How are you?
We're going to get her on screen. Tamika, can you let us know, kind of piggyback on what Stacy was just talking about access to books, about choosing books versus just the access that families are looking for. Can you wave,
yeah.
Tamika, so we can find you? There you are.
Hi.
A lot of parents really want their children to choose their books as opposed to the way my district has it is we have this book that we're reading for this module or this module. Parents love for their kids to actually be able to choose their own books. The students love to choose their books. What I have found with Epic is that oftentimes if a child reads a book on Epic, they actually want to have that book, that physical book. So they do look for that physical book to see, can I have it in my library? The parents also want their children to have a break from technology because they're on the screen for so long. So a book is a way of time out from technology. Parents get to, downplay things. And because I've had children I've had the older brother who's now in high school to the older sister who's now in middle school. They wind up saying, my brother, my sister, they had this same book. I want to get it now because they ripped all the pages out or they colored in the pages. So parents do want that because their children are like, okay, look, we need a new Judy B. Jones because the older sibling, colored the pages in or it's missing this or things like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Tamika. And I'd love to hear from Nancy Osterkamp. Are you there, Nancy?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, there you are. Hi, Nancy. So the question that we're kind of working on right now is we want to understand, access versus choosing, how families are looking at books right now during this COVID time. Is it different?
It's definitely different for me. I'm finding that a lot of my parents, they're just struggling to get through life every day. We're 100% virtual, at least through January at this point. And so my parents, I'm hearing more, well, we have lots of books at home. And I'm pushing no, it's more important, especially right now. Our kids need to get the love of reading. They need to learn to choose their books. My first graders are on Epic, And I'm finding that they listen to a story for maybe 2-3 minutes and then they turn it off. And that's not what I want. That's not what we need. So I'm purchasing books and sending books home with them. I have the kids come every 2 weeks to pick up work packets. And so they're all getting books. And I'm hoping that with my push, the whole family is going to realize this is what we need to be doing. We need to be buying these books so that the kids are having a good time and wanting to read.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy. So good to see you.
You too.
Let's hear from one more. Enrico, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think I put some information in the chat. It's important for the kids to have the physical books in their hands. I know that I've opened up my library, my personal library, a lot of Scholastic books there to the students, and it's kind of hard because I've had to take pictures and put them in some kind of, I couldn't post them in Google Classroom, so I have to put them in like a slideshow, and the students have to, they check it out through a sheet, but I think they like it because they get to see books that may not be available on other sources. And the fact that what many people have already expressed, to have a book in their hand and get to read it. I know a student had said they've read a book 2 or 3 times already, the same book. And that's kind of hard to do when you have something that's, it's on tablet form or it's on the screen. So you could pick it up, put it down, pick it up again, as opposed to turn it on, wait for it, load it, things like that. So it's important for the kids to have choice. It's important for kids to have a book in their hand. And I think I posted in the chat that our libraries are still closed to people going in and perusing. So you have to do all that online. And sometimes parents can't get down there. And we have distribution days at our school. So I've purchased some books for like that, the $1 books. And so those go into the distribution days for them to keep. And I know that some teachers are purging their book stocks too. And so I take some of those books and I put them there and make them available for them. So I really hope and they start building their own personal bookcases at home during this time, because who knows when we're going to be able to go back to libraries and classrooms.
I know. Thank you so much, Enrico. I appreciate everything. And then everybody's had to say. It's so enlightening to us. We want to move on to another question right now. We want to hear from you about the connection between teachers and families when it comes to books. And, we understand it how it's always been, but now more than ever, do you see yourself as like a connector or provider of books for your students? We want to understand that right now, and then we'll move on to something connected to that. But just right now, that connection between you, the teacher, and your students and your families. I'd like to hear from Katie Fadden. Let's start with Katie.
Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for having us on here. I'm so thrilled to be here. But I was just typing in the chat. I think that our families are always very appreciative of our recommendations for books and read alouds. But I think this year more than ever, I think that they are really appreciating, books that we could recommend, books that our students are loving at school, maybe just for fun, like the Elephant and Piggy books, or, books that would help with different social emotional pieces that they have going on at home if, their child's showing signs of anxiety or, other areas that they're concerned about. I think that that's definitely the connection this year. I think that parents more than ever are seeking the guidance and advice of teachers.
Okay, thank you so much, Katie. Let me hear from Scott Brewer.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having us again. The connection is huge this year. I was able to, I think one of those beg forgiveness rather than ask permission moments for my principal was able to deliver books to students' houses, and the looks on their faces, safely dropping them off and then, sort of backing away. But this was before we came back to school, and I was able to converse with them and have a conversation and, really connect with them in their safe area. They're at home, they're safe, but I was able to kind of bridge that virtual gap between the computer screen and, yes, I'm a real person behind that computer screen, and we have that when they're back in the classroom all the time, but you don't realize how much you're lacking that when you don't see them every day. And so I was able to, I actually incentivized our September order. I said, if you guys order, I will literally bring the books to your house along with some candy. And, and I had more orders, I think, than I've had in a year or two. It just speaks to the connection that people are seeking in all of this. And, we're just doing some small part. And it was about the books, but it was also about seeing
the candy.
each other. Well, yes, it was clearly about the candy, not at all about me. But it was definitely, much more meaningful this year, being able to get the books physically into their hands and deliver them, rather than, when you pass them out in school, it's great. But this year it just brought on and had so much more meaning.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd like to speak to Melissa Pilkowski. Melissa?
There we go. Sorry.
I happen to notice that you wrote something on chat that you're about your parents, your students wanting you to deliver.
Yeah, I had told them, at the beginning of the year we were completely virtual. So I had told them if they ordered books, I would come deliver them at their houses. And of course, then a bunch of the kids were all excited about that. And then I dropped them off at their house. And then, of course, come towards the end of September, Scholastic had offered to start delivering them to the kids' houses. And my kids were like, wait, won't you come still drop them off at our house? They didn't want Scholastic to mail it to their house. They wanted the book. They wanted me to come see them at their house. That's a special thing for the kids. So I think that connection piece, like Scott was saying, is really big right now. Like the teacher coming to the house is not something that we normally do. So that's something that was really special to them. So we are moving back into, the last week now, we started like an A-B model where our kids are coming back to school, and then quite a few of them are still staying virtual. So we're just trying to balance all of that at school right now. But the kids they still want the books. They still want to order books, and they're super excited about them. I know the pre-order of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid thing right now is huge with my 5th graders. They are so, oh my gosh, we can pre-order. I have a bunch of them that already pre-ordered it, and then several other ones that were like, oh, wait, can we still do that? I want that book on the day it comes out. They're all excited about it. So those promotions like that Scholastic does are really huge for those kids too, knowing that they can get it like that day. So we're excited for that. And I'm also excited for, I know on Thursday that there's a special Diary of a Wimpy Kid thing that Scholastic is hosting. So we're going to check that out this week too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'd like to hear from Kim Bollinger. And while Kim's getting on here with us, I'd like to hear, hi, Kim. I'd like to hear on the chat, and Kim, you can address this. What's the anxiety level going on right now with COVID, and you as a teacher, this whole pandemic has brought on as in teaching, and that whole access to books for your students. I'd like to hear a little bit about that, getting books.
Well, I'm in North Dakota. Yeah, I'm in North Dakota. So we've been hitting the news all the time now because we had a later curve. And so we're kind of in, hi to my friends from 2015, but we have had a later curve. And so we are really high right now with numbers. I'm in what's called a virtual academy. So some of the students selected, or their families selected to be full-time virtual. So we will go a full semester no matter what. My colleagues are going face-to-face, and they are now opening 4 days a week. They were every other day, and now they're 4 days a week for everybody. So there's a lot of nervousness, a lot of anxiousness about being back because they're supposed to keep kids in pods of 3. Well, we all know 5 and 6 year olds, it's like herding cats. So they're really nervous about that, nervous about keeping the kids safe, but excited to be with the kids too. So I think there's a mix of feelings of anxiety, but excited. And for me, everything is just going to stay the same. I'm going to keep teaching from home. I'm actually from my lake right now. But so I think, yeah, there's anxiety. And I think having books and sitting down and taking that time with a parent and a child relieves anxiety too. And I think just those special moments, my sisters and I went through my childhood bookshelf because my parents' grandkids are older now. And it was so fun to see my sisters who are not first grade teachers like me going through, oh, I loved this book. This was my favorite. And then we'd open it and see our names in it. And so I think even as adults, those special memories from when we were little, and it brings comfort to us to have those memories. So I kind of was random. I'm sorry.
Do you think that your families understand that too? I know you as a teacher. Do you think the families
I think some do. I think some, like someone else said, some are in survival mode right now, and it's the basics. It's we need to feed our kids, and I think some are overwhelmed. It's getting better because we've been in school for a while now, so they're starting to know me a little bit and understand our school structure, things like that. But I think some parents really understand that how important reading is, and some are overwhelmed. But I think that's all the time. I think life has ups and downs for everybody, and right now it just happens to be hard for pretty much most families. So, and happy 100th birthday, Scholastic.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, Kim. I wanted to hear from Shannon Langston for a moment. And Shannon, and for everyone, when I ask a question, please feel free to answer on the chat. Hello, Shannon. My question is this: how are you? We understand the world's changing, right? It's changed drastically right now, and we want to understand that shift in parent engagement. We want to, and from your perspective as a teacher, how are parents reacting now to their children's education, the importance of books right now? What does that mean for your parents right now?
Well, first of all, hello, 2017. Hello. I'm very excited to be here. It's still such a special memory for
we're
me
excited
to
be
part of this family. I am, just so everybody knows, we are in person 100%. Our families did have the option, and so we do have some kids online. We have masks, we have desk shields. We're supposed to be social distancing, but our numbers keep going up, so it's kind of difficult. It's really just communication. The kids, they're really concerned about, the kids falling behind. That's a big concern. Whether they're remote or in person, just because it's been so different. But for me, I just continue to try to engage with them with a lot of book talks. I talk about Scholastic in my weekly newsletter, almost weekly. When we have a book order, I take a picture of all the books that I was able to purchase with their bonus points so they can see that. Another thing that I've done is so it's been beautiful where I live. And so sometimes we'll go outside for independent reading time and they can spread out and take their masks off. And I'll take pictures of the kids and send it directly to the parents so they can kind of see their child engaged. But they want to know, honestly, a lot of my parents still want kids to have a variety of books. They ask me a lot of questions, like their children, they love graphic novels, and graphic novels are amazing. And we talk about them often, but a lot of my parents I teach 5th grade, by the way, want to see their children shift to, more traditional books as well. So it's me sharing a lot of the books with the kids. I also do a book club to get them, involved, a voluntary one. And I use the dollar books. I just bought my students Restart. I was lucky enough to be able to do that. And just the joy on their face and how excited. It was like so worth it. So that's our book club pick for this month. So, the parents, they just want to know how to keep their kids engaged and make sure that they don't fall behind. And for me, it's just continue to read. Read with your child, encourage your kids to read, buy Scholastic books, things like that.
No, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Kim Nelson. Kim Nelson, are you around? Let's see if we can find Kim. There you are. So the question is the same to you. A lot of changes right now. We want to understand parent engagement. Has it changed a lot? The other thing we're hearing a lot is about this COVID slide. So we want to understand, do parents understand the impact it's having on their students and their reading levels?
I
Any
am
thoughts?
actually next door to North Dakota. I am only about an hour away from Fargo. So we are in Minnesota. We are masked and everything, but we are in person every day. But parents had an option to send their children to school or do distance learning. And so right now I have 27 learners, 22 are in person and 5 are distance. And I'm seeing a huge difference personally between my distance learners and my in-person learners. Mainly that I'm not connecting as much because I don't get as much of the time with the students, but it's really impacting their abilities. There's such a gap between what I feel my in-person kids are able to do. And parents, I do believe, are seeing that. I was really excited when I saw as many trying to order books and get books in their kids' hands. But I do feel that with all of the precautions that we're taking, having them here in person is helping a ton. It's nerve-wracking. I fortunately kind of have already been through COVID, so I don't have to quarantine right now. But it's been that fear of knowing that we might have to go distance. I worry about what are we going to be able to get in the kids' hands. And that's, I think we have a lot of families like that too. And so we're just working hard.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you so much. How about Rob Nunn? So Rob, the question is, this COVID slide that we're hearing about, and that, that the kids have come back to school, with below reading levels, or their reading levels haven't, reached where they should be right now. Do you think your parents are seeing that, or your parents, is it reflective in them looking for books? That's what I'm getting at.
I don't feel like it's reflective in them looking for books. I posted in the chat, I feel like my parent orders are down significantly this year. Parents are, for whatever reason, just not buying books. But the COVID slide, I feel, is noticeable in the involved parents for sure, but the less involved parents or the overwhelmed parents, that's not a priority for them. And one of my big concerns is COVID creating a bigger gap between the haves and the have-nots, especially with reading ability, because the kids whose parents have the expendable income, or somebody can work from home, or somebody's already a stay-at-home parent, they're buying books, they're spending time with their kids. And the ones that are struggling to make ends meet or have to work extra hours, they're happy to get homework done, but they're not sitting down and finding time to read with them, because the parents are just so exhausted for some of the working class families I deal with.
Do you think that this is going to fall back on you as a teacher, this COVID slide? Do you have any?
Not this year. I think next year, I teach 5th grade, so I'll be dealing with fallout next year from the upcoming kids. And then, my kids this year that are struggling to keep their heads above water in all aspects of life, they're going to be dealt with. The 6th grade teachers will try to catch them up. It's one of those, like, this is going to reverberate for years.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rob. Let's hear from Lisa Wensky. Are you there, Lisa?
Yes. And thank you guys so much for this and 2007. In terms of the slide, I'm fortunate that I work at a school now. I had half a career at a school where most of the kids lived in homes that mostly had low income, and now it's opposite. So the community I work in now mostly has high income, and they can mostly order books. We're split as well, where I do in-person learning with about 8 kids, and 9 of my kids have elected to stay at home or need to stay at home. And so, like many of you are saying, we're in person. And at first it was a question of, parents are going to be upset that we're in person and we're working with kids to an extent with masks and social distancing, but that kids at home are maybe going to feel like the kids in person are getting more. And what we've started to feel after 2 weeks of doing this is that the kids who are at school are there for 7 hours with us, and that kids at home, they're doing the items that are required and pushed out. And we have like basically a form of Canvas, and we also use a lot of Seesaw. that they're doing the live Zooms with us for a couple hours a day, and then they're doing the required items, but it does feel like maybe they're doing 2 to 3 hours of stuff, and then they're having their free time, and it's given families a lot of opportunity to travel and go places during the day. Some really have, very intense reasons for needing to be out of school, but we've now started to feel like the gap is only, even though our school, the kids tend to be very, very fortunate academically in how they're doing, that now we're having the issue of our kids in person are basically getting a lot of teacher instruction and help, and kids at home aren't. And some families are really doing a lot. I did have my biggest order last night that I didn't quite finish that I've ever had in 23 years of doing this. So I was shocked. Again, I'm very lucky that I'm at a school that I'm at and the families have more disposable income, but it is a gap. And we have a lot of pressure from families that people are saying, what are you going to do to help my child? Because we've read about the slide and things like that. So we're trying everything that we can, but it's a difficult situation because we're working all day and then spending all nights and all weekends trying to put everything online. And I put books in bags and I ask families to pick them up. I'm lucky that I'm able to write grants every year and get books. And you guys are so kind to us that I have a lot of books, but I've started to try to put books in bags and go take them. And I guess if I lose them, I'm just going to order somehow again. But we are very worried about the slide. We're worried about years down the road across the district. We lost 5,000 kids in our school district. Most of them were elementary, and it was because they were not in person for the largest part in the beginning, which was, it's going to be like $51 million a year and possibly 232 teacher layoffs. We have more coming back in elementary than we do in high school and middle school in person. And so we're very worried. And across the district, there are a lot of kids who have completely disengaged, meaning we did provide Wi-Fi hotspots, one-to-one devices for everybody, K through 12. And so I'm not saying that makes it perfect, but the access is so different. In our area that I work in, that is super high income, people are still missing about a third to a fourth of students, and they are considered to have failing grades. And now there's a lot of argument about what kind of grades you have to give because the kids are at home. So it's all over the place. We are worried about the slide. We're lucky it's probably not going to affect our school as much, but it's a constant discussion every day. And there is a lot of stress and anxiety across the board, especially with the educators.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we totally understand. So my next question is, and we're hearing, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, parents, some parents are in tune, some parents are not connected. We want to hear from you. How can Scholastic Book Clubs help at this time? What do you see our role as right now? Let me speak to Helen Mew. Are you on, Helen? I think I saw you.
Yes, I am.
There you are.
And hi, 2018. Good to see everyone again. How could Scholastic Book Clubs help? In the chat, I put that this year has been one of my lowest years in terms of getting parents to order. And I know that you have an email that you can quickly send out to parents to make it easier for them to order online virtually. And so we don't have to handle cash or anything like that. And so I haven't utilized that yet because I wanted to give them first the catalogs and let the parents and the students have that tactile version of the catalogs and see what is available. And so that I plan to roll out. And so it's just, I think parents are kind of overwhelmed, at least my parents are, with just where to begin, all the different choices out there and how to kind of sift through it all. And so as my role as an educator and as their child's first grade teacher, I like to kind of give them suggestions and tips. I put in the chat also that parents aren't always aware that diversity in books is prevalent now, more so. And so that's something that they appreciate whenever I do suggest books to them, give them suggestions, and never mind the whole, what books are age appropriate or what's a good book for my child. And so they want to take that active role in helping their child choose books, but they don't quite know where to begin or how much help and support to give them or how much they should allow their child to choose their own books. And so there's a lot of one-on-one conversations. Even I feel like I might even do kind of like a parent in-service or workshop with them just to give them suggestions and tips. And so perhaps providing resources that I could share with parents would be a great start for that.
Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you so much. And I'm going to move on a little bit here. I want to understand, and we all want to understand, what does a classroom library mean now during this pandemic? How has it changed, if at all, for you? Let me hear from Lori Watkins. Did I get Lori? Do I have Lori on still? And we can come back to Lori.
Stella, I'm kicking on and out. I'm on and off here. Can you repeat your question?
Oh, I'm sorry. What does a classroom library mean now during the pandemic? Has it changed at all for you?
Well, unfortunately, there is a classroom because I'm not in a class. I'm in my house. This is what my classroom is like. I'm here every single day. And that's one of the things that I've worked so hard on my 23 years of education doing, building a classroom library that has so many diverse and important books for the kids that they have access to. And we've lost all access to that because my kids don't ever come into the classroom. The only thing I have to do is a once a month mailing in an 11 by 13 envelope. So I do send papers that the kids can be working on, and every month I've been using my bonus points from Scholastic. The kids all one book that I stick in that envelope with for them so that they get something at home. I would love it if Scholastic would somehow allow us to maybe add on to the kids' orders when they're when their parents are. Would it be possible if a teacher was then add a book or two to that order for them so that they could get a little bit more and my bonus points and add on to there? That would be something that I'd really appreciate being able to do. It would allow me to get a few more books out to them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let me hear from Christine Loyacano. I'd love to.
Hey guys. Okay, I have a very good idea. Like my kids, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
My kids.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, my kids are low income. And so I'm buying all the books for them because their parents are either unemployed, they are living in multiple households with multiple family members, grandma, aunts, uncles. I'm teaching both in person and online at the same time. So I'm a bit of a mad woman. And my classroom library in my classroom is fabulous. And my in-person kids are getting the books. We have to quarantine them for a week after they get them, but that's it. But I need to be able to purchase books online and send them to the kids' houses. And I'm not able to do that. My parents are not ordering the books. And I want to use my bonus points or my own money to send them to the kids' homes because I'm not able to go to their homes because they all live in apartments. And it's not safe for me to, and my district will not allow me to go to the kids' apartments. I do have pickup where the kids come and they pick up books, but I'll have bags sit for a week or two before parents can actually come to me at the school to pick up the books. So it's been very difficult. I do use StoryWorks from Scholastic and Scholastic Literacy Pro. So I do use all of the Scholastic tools. And I utilize all the dollar books. I buy 30 of them every month and send them to the kids. I'm using my own money to UPS them and to mail them and for kids to come pick them up because that's just.
Are they able to do the ship to home?
Well, they are if they purchase them.
Okay. Yeah.
But if
you're purchasing, I see what you're saying. Yes.
They're not purchasing, I don't have the ability to enter in their address and send it to them on Scholastic. And that would be something that like I need to do. Right. If I get money from somebody else, because I borrow from all my friends, send me $30, and I get money from my friends to send books to kids, then I would be able to do that online.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a huge help for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christine. So good to see you. Let me hear from Emily Nestor. Emily, hopefully I'll get you on here.
Hi there.
You're there?
Yep.
Okay. So, the classroom library, we want to understand the meaning now during the pandemic, but we also want to move on a little bit so you can kind of combine this. What's the value of book clubs for you and your students right now? Like, and the connection there. How are
Sure.
you?
Well, first of all, I just need to say that my year in 2016 was incredibly inspiring, and I am finding such inspiration from you all, and especially during such a challenging time. And I just want to tell everybody that you're all fighting the good fight and to keep doing what you're doing. And you should all be very proud of yourselves every day for just getting out of bed and continuing to do it. Book clubs has been for us in our school. I did put down in the chat that having some sort of virtual book preview or book screening was huge for us. We face-to-face with a hybrid option, and we definitely also need to quarantine books. Every time a child touches an object, it goes into a sanitizer, and that takes the amount of time that they can interact with those texts away. I have been able to the clubs now that we are face-to-face. I think when we went remote, it was really quick, weren't prepared. So having that option of sending things home virtually was not something on our radars or our families' radars, but the need to have books in the kids' homes did not go away. Even kids that come from literacy environments, kids are the same books over and over again, and they lose interest in new books. I think some sort of virtual guide for teachers to go and learn how to easily send things to their kids virtually, even if they're in face-to-face. I know as a teacher, I'm feeling overwhelmed with the new mandates being put out every day, but a simple guide for teachers to access these things virtually would be a big help for us. So thank you, everybody, and it's good to see everyone.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to just choose one more person for this question, and it's, again, the value of book clubs for you and your students. Has it changed over the years? Is it more or less important during these times? I'd love to hear. Let's hear from Nikki Talicki. Are you on there?
I'm here. Hi, everybody. I'm from like early 2000s. I don't even know what, but I didn't get a red shirt. Scholastic Book Clubs to me has always meant like Annie, like Daddy Warbucks. I think I told that to Dick when I came in, but not because books cost money, but because books always made me feel rich because they were filled with stories and places I couldn't go to. As a child, I never could order Scholastic books. I grew up in a very poor family with 6 kids. And so book clubs to me just mean so much. And I try to portray that to my children in my classroom. But I mean, parents aren't ordering books the way they are. Today, I wore this shirt, my NASA shirt. NASA is not as old as Scholastic, but everybody wears NASA shirts because it's vintage and cool. And one of the things that I was thinking that Scholastic could do is make a shirt that says Scholastic, I'm rich because someone read to me. I think that just that mindset could really change the way Scholastic means to people. They don't see it every day. I really, really think it would change things. Vintage shirts are in and kids are wearing what their parents loved. And
I think a lot of people here are starting to agree with you. I hear a lot of that.
It's nostalgic. It's amazing. I have to say, every time that book box comes, I don't know if I'm more excited than the kids are. And now I have grandchildren. My granddaughter got her first Scholastic book order yesterday. She called me up. She's like, Grammy, my book came. It's the exact like the picture. And I've been sending her books for years, but you know, it came to her desk. Her desk jail is what she's calling it during this pandemic.
But it's true because that nostalgia is still there for a lot of teachers.
Right, and we need to bank on that. I had a Henry Ford mug. My daughter came down and took it away. She was visiting from college today. But I mean, a mug that says Scholastic, a sticker for their water bottles that says Scholastic. The books are great, but they're not selling. And I don't know how many times Scholastic can make a $1 book and not lose money.
Okay. Thank
Sorry,
you
I got
so
all excited.
much.
I love you people.
I love
Thank
your
you.
passion.
I have it. Let me tell you.
I love it. I love it. So on a final note, we're going to ask everyone to share with us in chat, and we'd love to hear from you. So write in your answers. We want to know, tell us some of the themes and topics you're teaching this year, you know, as maybe as opposed to other years. What are those books that you're looking for? Tell us about the books you're looking for. And if you have any favorite books, anything that you can share with us on chat. It's been such a pleasure listening to you. I can't thank you, and we all feel the same way. Thank you so much. It's been so inspiring, the discussion here today. Your feedback to us is invaluable. We're listening to you, and we're going to continue listening to you. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. And now it's my honor and an absolute privilege to introduce someone you all love, know, and respect. Our chairman and CEO, please join me in welcoming Mr. Dick Robinson. And we can all shake our hands.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can see me and hear me.
We can.
After probably we just celebrated our 100th birthday on Thursday. The first Scholastic magazine was October 22nd, 1920. And you might see the flowers in back of me here are part of the celebration for our 100th birthday. And having been to, I recognize all of you, by the way, and remembered every single one of you from meetings that we've had. And I feel just so connected to what you do and who you are. And I've been, I probably have attended 1,000 meetings in my history with the Scholastic, with teachers. This was by far the most inspiring, meaningful, with brilliant ideas coming through the screen. One of you asked that this all be circulated because there's 100 years worth of ideas right in this meeting that you've all given to us, including that fabulous shirt idea, Nikki, which I think was that, we're going to have to do that. We're absolutely going to do. And in the 100th year, two things that I wanted to convey to you about this. One is that following the Second World War, there were no books in people's homes, in schools, in libraries. Nobody had any of them. And the book clubs, which were based on the magazine's relationship to teachers, and in the old days, teachers would collect magazines from money from kids to pay for the magazine. And so the idea of teachers, supporting kids by collecting money for books, when there were no books in society, made books, put books everywhere in people's homes. And it was all because the teachers believed that this would change kids' lives. And Nikki, I said, we're rich because somebody read to me. We got to patent that idea for sure. The second idea is this, what you were just all talking about, which is the connection that people have with the clubs and book fair experiences. It's really the memory, the feeling of the relationship that you all discuss so movingly here, that how you connect with your kids, and it's really that connection that's just as important as the book itself. A final thought, my heart was breaking here when Rob started the conversation and all of you kind of pitched in on the gap, right? And how the pandemic is widening the gap, and the importance of reading and books and trying to narrow the gap and make books available to everybody, including the $1 books and all of that. So I just learned so much from all of you today, changing my whole feeling about the different opportunities we have, and just feel so grateful to know you and to know that the teachers have been working for generations to do the things that you're doing, and you're probably doing them better today with more imagination, passion, and tiredness, but really affecting the lives of your kids in just so many ways. And we feel a partnership with you in doing that. And so this meeting has been so inspiring and so phenomenal and so uplifting for us as we're on our 100th birthday and going into the next 100 years. Your enthusiasm and ideas are just going to propel us forward in this area, and I hope we can find ways to help you with the pandemic, and I hope also that all the kids get back in school. There are a lot of good studies that show that there's very little spread from K-5 kids, to teachers. So those of you who are worried about that, there's a lot of tests or a lot of research that shows that that's not happening to any great degree. But thank you all. This has been, an amazing session. Our history with you has been inspiring, and you've given us ideas that are going to help us survive and prevail through the next 100 years. Thank you all. We love you. You're just so important to us and to everybody that you're serving. Thank you so much.
I totally agree with Dick. I'm going to hold it together now. Very emotional. You guys are amazing. As Dick said, this was our 100th anniversary. So I think it's a perfect moment for everyone to join in a rousing chorus of happy anniversary. Happy birthday to Scholastic. Are you guys ready?
So everyone turn off your mics or turn them on.
Your mics. Ready?
Happy anniversary
to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary, dear Scholastic. Happy anniversary to you.
Everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Happy
Fantastic.
Okay, we were good on that one, guys. We need some musical accompaniment next time. Okay, well, again, I just echo what all of our colleagues, Stella and Carol and Jenna and Kristen and Lizzie, thank you guys for pulling this together, and Unique and Billy and everybody. I mean, it's a labor of love because, as Dick said, we love you guys. You are our reason for doing the work we do every day. We are irrelevant if what we're doing is not meeting your needs. And your needs are so complicated, but also, as Dick said, kind of persistent. Like, teachers are the lifeblood of our democracy, frankly. So we want to, send you off with some gifts, of course. And we're going to just, I don't know, is there a slide? We wanted to make sure, in honor of our 100th, we wanted to give our 100th anniversary gifts to you. And so you're going to be getting 100 books, which are 100 books from Scholastic's, life of amazing publishing. A special book anthologized by our own David Levithan, 100 Reasons to Love Reading, which I think you will love, love, love. We have a beautiful, I don't think it's on this picture, but a beautiful 100th anniversary Scholastic tote bag. And we have a brand new thing at Scholastic, which, I think, came from feedback you guys are giving us, which is a gift card. So you will all be getting a $100 Scholastic gift card, which I think will go live next week. And of course, no Scholastic meeting would be complete without 1,000 bonus points to be deposited into your bonus point bank. So, it's a joy to be with you guys. As Dick said, I think this meeting, the enthusiasm, the energy, the emotion, frankly, the inspiration is going to carry us, because we want to be there for you, and you're amazing. So thank you, guys. And whoever didn't get a sweatshirt, let us know and we'll send them out. So thank you. In touch. There's the tote bag. Lizzie's got the new tote bag. We'll be mailing all those out. And the response to this meeting was amazing. I mean, there's over 100 of you. And so we were so inspired that everybody was happy to come back and take some time on a Saturday. So thank you again. We'll be back in touch soon. And again, we love you guys. Be well and stay safe. And you do amazing work.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.